Okay, so we talked about how to get to this page, the indexmalt.php, and this is when you want to choose someone to play. We have a chat, and we have all the available players and not available players, so all the usernames actually in the database. And you can chat here or do whatever. What we saw is that the indexmalt.php file is containing all this. This was if you get redirected back to indexmalt.php if you just were in an had an opponent and you wanted a new opponent. If you're coming from that side, you already have a game ID and you want to delete this when you come to this page, so we can see that, well, you're available right now. Okay, anyway, so this isn't a lot of HTML code. It just says welcome, whatever username, and it has this div available players, div chat messages, and this div which has the chat text ID. And these are set when we call certain things down here. So we have this page and we're calling the jQuery as usual when we want to use JavaScript, and we're calling the available players and the chat box. It says here ... because we're standing in the index where the indexmalt.php is, and we need to go back one folder, and we got the JS right here, and here we got the jQuery, we got the chat box, we got the available players. Chat box in-game is going to be the chat when we're playing against an opponent. But these two, we're going to look at these two right now. So we go to available players, and the only thing we got here is when we've loaded the JavaScript, which we did in the index right here, it's gonna do the set. Okay, it's gonna do this first. It's gonna load. Well, it's gonna start something that is setting an interval. It's gonna be something that is called with a time interval. So that one is set, and it's gonna do this every 1500 milliseconds. And it also does this the first time you load the JavaScript. So here's where it does it just directly, and here's where it's put in a set interval, so it does this periodically. Okay, so what's happening here? Well, this div, which we have available players, square brackets, available div, available players, we got it here. So it's gonna set this div to whatever is going on here. So it loads this PHP, the display players, and it's in the same folder as indexmalt. So we go to pages and we see the display players somewhere over there. And what does display players do? Well, it start a session, or a session start, so we get the session variables. It includes the classes, the user class, which we saw in the video before, so you know about that. So we're creating a user and we're doing this function right here in the users. So we need to go back now to the user class. So we gotta go one folder back, and then in classes and users. So we go one back, classes, users, and we look at this one. So we were calling display available players. So we go down to display available players, and here we go. It's all this here. And what this one does is it includes the database, so we get the database right there. So now we got this one, and we're doing a query where we select everyone from the table users, and we order it by the user ID so we know it's okay. So we go into users, the table users. Here we got the user ID. Okay, I need to put in the password. We go to this one, and as I said, we're ordering by user ID. This is just the SQL, how we do the code. We didn't need that one, but we're gonna need it later here. So user ID, we select everything. We do an exit count, so we do a row count. And before we've seen it's only 0 or 1 row, but now we're getting everything here. So the row count is going to be more. It's going to actually be all the rows we got here. And so it's not going to be 0. It could be 0 if it's the first time we do anything. And then it's going to return nothing. And but if we have users, we do all this. So for every row we got, we want to take out the variable first from username, and we need the game ID, and it's called, what I called it is token here. So we're getting the username and the game ID from every, or it goes, what it does is while row, so it's gonna do all while. This while loop is done for 1 row. Okay, so it starts with user ID 1 at 12. So it goes, we can access this row now. And what it does is it takes the username, which in this case is A12, the first one, and then it goes and it takes the value of the game ID. So the game ID here is 0, and it's asking if row, well, first of all here, if row username is not equal to session username. What that means is, you know, if we have a game ID, we're getting the opponent name. So display available players, you like, if you take the username and it's not equal to whatever session username we got, that means it's the opponent name. So if it is the opponent name, it will do this. If it's the opponent name, if row game ID is not equal to 0, so the game ID is equal to something here, then it will show not available. This variable available is going to be not available. Yeah, it's not a good thing to call a variable available if you're not available, but okay, this checks if the availability. So available is set to not available if this is not equal 0, but if it is equal 0, we say that available is available. And then what it does is, if the token is equal to 0, that means the game ID is equal to 0, then we will do a random number for the game ID, just so we get different game IDs for different games. What we do then after that is that if the row game ID is not 0, then we're going to do, if it's not 0, then we're going to do color red, and we're going to echo the name. Okay? And if it is equal to 0, we're going to do this one. We're going to have, if we click on it, it's going to go to this page here, and it's going to say the name as well, and that that's it. So if I go here, if you're not available, it's going to show red and you can't click on it. But if you are available, you're going to be able to click on these ones on the username, and you're going to get redirected with this one. Not only are you going to be redirected to this page, you are going to include this in your URL when you go to that page. You form it like this. I put also this in here. So question mark, the ID will be whatever user game ID you got. So the game ID is going to be put as ID, the one that we did a random number on, and the name is going to be the name variable. And the name variable is the opponent. The name is going to be the opponent. Because we said here, if row is the user name row is not equal to session username, then it means it's not you. So we're only going in this if statement if it's not you. And the name is this one here. That's the variable for the username. So we show the opponent right here, and what it means here, the if statement, is actually, you know, we don't want to display our own name, you know, in the list. So that's why we have this if statement. So it's going to display the opponent name, and if we click on a certain opponent, it's going to take the opponent's name and it's going to take the user game ID there, and we're going to go to the redirect page. And what else is going to happen is that we're going to say that the username, it's going to follow this. So we're going to do span is available or is not available right here. So is, and then a span, and it's called chat messages, it's just called that, and echo the variable available. So we put it to not available or available there. Okay, so that is the function of show or display available players. So now we got all this we got all this ready here. So if you're not available, you can't click on it, but if you're available, you can click on it and you're going to be redirected to a page. And I think I'll do it right now. When I push a player here, like pair, you're going to this page, and it's another page now, ch index.php. But I told you that we're going to redirect.php with the ID and the name of the opponent. So what is going on there? Well, we have to look at that redirect PHP, and parent location is just that it's where we are right now, and we add the redirect PHP. So chessmult pages, and we have redirect right here. So I open this one up, and this is what it goes as. So we're going to this page first before we go to this one. But why it's going here is because if we look at the last row here, it says header location ch/index.php. So after it done the redirect, it's gonna go here. Why we want to do the redirect is because we're gonna set value to our database, so we connect the two players together. So we were sending the name and the ID, the ID and the name. So when we go to redirect, it's gonna look for the ID of the game that was we did by random. So this is our token now. So we do this with a get ID. So get, I hope you're familiar with that. It's what we do when we put things in the URL. So we can get, we're passing variables through the URL, and to get them we do the get. So you see here the first one, we got get ID, and that means we're taking the ID, what it's equal to, and that was equal to token that we had here, the random number. And we are getting that variable there, and we also take the username, our username, so it's not the opponent, and we will set the session game ID now to what was randomized to us. So we will set the game ID, the session game ID. Then we're setting the variable opponent, and we do the the get method from the URL, because we were sending it through here. We were sending the ID and the name, and here we get the name, and that's the name of the opponent. And we put the session opponent to opponent. So well, here we put the session game ID, here we put the session opponent. And what we will do now is, it's because the one that is doing all this, it's you. So we already have our username, obviously, and now we want to put stuff in the database, and we're calling the database. We've included the database here, so we got the database here, and we select everything from users, the table users, where the user ID is the session user ID, so that's us. So we go to our row, and we check the row count, and we're gonna get something here. So while row game on is what I call it now, is this one. So we have this variable, and we're checking for every row, we're checking this. So row game on, game ID, if that one is equal to 0, then we're gonna set the color to white. Remember, the only row we're getting from this one is our own row, and if our own row is equal to 0, we're gonna put ourselves as white, and we're gonna do another, we're gonna use the database again, and you see I call this variable game ID insert. So now we want to update the user table where it's the game ID. Well, we want to update every variable that is this. So this is how we do with the SQL if we want to update several variables. So we do the update user table, and we want to update the game ID, game opponent, game color, where we have the username of this. And so we can put anything here. So we had the username, that is our username, and we want to put in the same row as us, we want to put the color to whatever it is, and we put it to white. And we want to put the opponent, which was sent to us with the get method from the URL, and we want to set the token, the game ID. So now we've done this for our row. Now we want to set the color to black, because we want to update the opponent here. So what we do now is we call the database again, and we do an update user set game ID, or again just the same row, where username is this one, but now instead for our username right here we put the opponent username, because we know the opponent username. So it's going to the row where we have the opponent, and it's going to set the color to black. The username is going to be the opponent. That's us here. So it's going to put the game opponent to us. So remember, this is our opponent we're updating now, the row for the opponent, and he's going to see us as the opponent, and he's going to get the color black, or she, and we're going to put the same game ID number right here. So what we've done now is that we've updated the SQL for our own row and the opponent we've chosen. So now we got all that in our SQL. And after that, obviously, we go to chindex.php when we're done with this. And that means we're coming to this page here. So we've updated the SQL database, and we're coming here. So what will happen for Per now is that he will always look, he will communicate with the database and check when will, if he's getting a game ID that is not equal to 0, then he is in a game, so he needs to be redirected to this page also. So we're checking against the database. Do we have game ID 0? Otherwise we're gonna be redirected. But what we've done now is that you're here, you're choosing a person, and it does the redirect, and it puts everything in the SQL and takes you to this page. Now we've updated SQL, and we're just waiting for the opponent to communicate to the SQL, so he's redirected also to this page right here. That's it for this one. And now I'm going to, I haven't explained the chat. Actually, I think I will. Will I explain the chat in the next video? I think I will explain this one, because then we can concentrate on this page right here afterwards. So I'm gonna do the chat after this one, and then we're coming back to whatever happens, how the opponent is listening. I'm just gonna check here. Yeah, I'll explain that later. So next video is about the chat here. Alright, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.